Welcome to Phuket in Focus. Don't forget the Phuket News is now out and available in over 600 outlets all across the island. And I'm joined here in the studio with Mr. Simon Ostheimer, the managing editor from the Phuket News. Simon, how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me today.
You're very welcome. Right, we're talking about the front page news right now, danger at Black Spot. And this is at the Bang Yai intersection where there's been a couple of crashes. Give us some details, please, Simon.
Yeah, well, no, a couple of tragic accidents in the past week. One, I'm sure everybody knows about, the two BIS students came off their bike after a collision with a white Honda, and their bikes basically exploded into flames, scorched this building. And then there was another incident with a Thai driver, same thing, badly injured. It seems it's a bit of a black spot on the island, as we say on the front page.
Well, it seems to be they've tried to the officials have tried to bring down some of the problems with the blockage of the roads going up, the traffic going up the road, and now it's kind of seems like it's causing a lot more problems.
Yeah, the reason that it's there in the first place, because it never used to be there, is because of the construction of the Central Festival underpass, and this is meant to alleviate traffic going to Patong, so they can now go around the back of Big C. But there's no traffic light, and so basically drivers just had to judge for themselves if it's safe to go, and twice last week they misjudged that.
And quite horrendous photographs that was reported as well.
Yeah, you can see all those online.
And good wishes and good luck to anyone involved in those crashes, obviously. Now, turning over, we go through. This is interesting because there's been quite an uproar from taxi drivers and tuk-tuk drivers, as we know, about the bus service that was going to be put on offer from the airport to like areas of the west, like Patong, Karon. Now there's a new solution. What's going on here?
Well, it's an innovative solution. It's thinking outside the box. So, as you say, a few weeks ago we had that on our front page, taxi drivers, no bus. They're now still under negotiation about if that's going to happen. But the solution is, why not speedboats from the airport?
Yeah, so, out the box and off the coast.
I mean, the airport's right by the coast anyway. Wouldn't take too much to build a pier, so you go straight from your plane, obviously through immigration and things, get on the boat straight down the west coast, and you're in Patong.
Yeah, it seems like a perfect option.
You cut out all the roads. There's no need to take a taxi, tuk-tuk, or bus.
Quick, exciting, and sort of like very convenient.
And as we say, Marine Department have already got plans drawn up, so it just needs official permission to go ahead. So it's possible, it could happen.
Yeah, and I'm sure, but we're going to have to wait for the reports on how the tuk-tuk drivers and taxi drivers are going to think about this.
Well, the water tuk-tuks are definitely going to be, up in arms about this kind of thing.
Well, like the long-tails. The long-tail service is going to go right off the scale. But yeah, that's been reported. And also, then we go into quite interesting to see that Philippe Lolly is going to be playing at the Alliance Française. Nice bit of classical music. You can check that out. And also, Italians grateful after lost in jungle rescue.
Yeah, we get these stories every few months. Basically, tourists who decide for one reason or another that the beach is not enough and that they want to see wild Phuket. So they
crazy thrill seekers.
So they head out on these trails, which are really not that well worn or well signposted, inevitably get lost. In this case, they called the tourist police hotline, and although the Italian guy, his battery was almost dead, they managed to trace the signal and they got them out of the jungle in time.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Because that can be quite scary. I mean, we've all kind of gone off-road a little bit exciting, and then suddenly realise, you try and keep the kind of bread trail back to where, in your mind, the sort of where you're going to get back to society. But then if you're in the middle of the jungle and you've really gone where you don't know where you are.
And once it gets dark, there's no light out there, and people just don't realise how much of Phuket is still wilderness.
No, it's quite amazing that they knew the tourist police hotline. I mean, we've broadcast it on the radio, obviously, as like a little public service announcement on Phuket's Live 89.5. But it's handy, like that they've got it in there. I mean, this is what we try and encourage for people to have it in there. And then that's possibly saved a really heavy ordeal.
And as we also reported last week, there's a new tourist police app that you can get for your smartphone, and that actually has ways within that you can sort of contact the tourist police when you're in trouble. So. Yeah, no, they've done a great service and will continue to do so.
Tourist police from the future. And nice, light-hearted, but a lot of work went into this, I'm sure, but the British International School, the biggest production they've put on yet, they took on The Lion King. And as you put it, The Lion King is a roaring good show.
Yeah.
Nice. You went to see it. Tell us about it.
I did. I took my family there, and it was just amazing production. The singing and acting was fantastic. The costumes were brilliant, were really sort of world class, and it was just so nice to see something cultural, I guess, on the island for a change.
Yeah, and it's nice, as you said, the costumes and the designs, because it was all in-house, wasn't it? It was like the art department were doing all the paints of the sets.
And the parents were involved, you know, and sort of even with the backup singers and all of that. It was apparently 4 months in the making.
Well, this was it. Sure. Even just the makeup alone was, I think, something like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. They were having run-throughs, rehearsals with the makeup, which shows that they're putting full commitment into bringing a great product, which is amazing. So looking forward to the next production.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it only ran for 3 days, but, you know, it's such a huge thing they couldn't, I guess, do any more than that. But hopefully they'll be doing another one again, I guess, in 4 months' time.
Excellent.
Fingers crossed.
Excellent. Yeah, no, looking forward to that. Life and style?
Yeah, well, just one thing I want to touch on in sport is as we're very big followers and supporters of Phuket FC.
Yeah, literally media followers now.
We are official English media partners. Yeah. But even from last season, as you remember, so from the dark days when it looked like might even be relegated.
They had a really bad season. That was just going crazy. People not getting paid, not knowing if they were going to be in the league anymore. Team was going to be moved
to Bangkok. There were all sorts of
and now the sun is shining. And
well, this is thanks to the new chairman coming in, and he's spending a bit of money, but they've put together an amazing team, and now second in the league after a 1-0 away win. And he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's also now building a new training complex in land that he owns in Geelong.
Yeah, I drive past us on the Chow Phar Road, the West Chow Phar Road.
Yeah, the Carter Sports Ground. Now there is also talk of them building, if they get promotion to the Premier League, their own dedicated football stadium, which would just be, I think, only the second proper one in the entire league after Buriram. So
amazing,
exciting times, and it's worth going down. It's a great time, Sirikul Stadium,
and it's well deserved because you know when you go down there, you feel that the fans are really sort of putting the effort in. They want to, they want a good team to support. Yeah, and it's Phuket, man. Also, a great way to go and see the matches is we're giving tickets away live on Phuket's Live 89.5. Listen to the sports update and a chance to win a pair of tickets on every show each day, 3 times a day. So it is a good atmosphere, so get down and support your local team. Excellent. Simon, Life and Style?
Yeah, so just Life, as you know, sort of the magazine with the Phuket news, comes free with it every week, so 20 baht you get both parts of the paper. A reminder that this content that's in here is exclusively in print. You cannot see it online. We only put the news and sport online, so if you want to read this stuff, you have to buy it. It's 20 baht.
Yes.
It's the price of a nice coffee.
It's a deal.
But the sort of highlights this week, Claire Connell went on a little jaunt to the Simmerlands. I've not been, but apparently gorgeous.
Very nice for Claire.
As you can see. Yes. She couldn't complain. We also interview Kamon Mon Chukum. He's one of the island's leading artists. And again, we're big supporters of the artist.
Down in Rawai.
Down in Rawai. His kind of story behind.
This is the Nakonai Art Gallery.
Exactly. Yeah, amazing kind of home that he built himself.
It's beautiful. It's like being in a bit of Star Wars. It's kind of all kind of different levels and different. You walk through a bit Moroccan as well, kind of feel to it. Yeah. But and they have nice jams there as well. They have nice music as well as the art as well, which is very nice. Yeah. But so you've got a story about Mon in there.
Yeah, and then sort of the dining review this week is a new restaurant called Barefoot, close to Patong. Actually has John Underwood is involved with it with a Thai partner, and we kind of christened them the odd couple because she's quite short and obviously John's a very
brilliant
tall man.
Knowing his style and design, that's going to be a great place to go to just check out and have a coffee and then have some food. Excellent. Okay, so great job again. The Phuket News out and available now in over 600 outlets. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Phuket in Focus, Simon Ostheimer.
Thank you for having me. See you next week.
Chok di nakap.
Watch us where you want, when you want. Your smartphone, tablet, laptop, anywhere, anytime. Keep informed and up to date. Phuket News TV.
And welcome to The Conversation. I'm joined in the studio here with Tim Newton and Alistair Forbes from the Phuket News TV and the Phuket newspaper. I'm on the radio, of course, Phuket's Live 89.5. And we're going to be discussing some of the things going on Phuket and items that have been brought up in the news recently. In conversational form, I do believe.
Of course.
Now, it's coming up towards a very special time here in Thailand. It's coming up to Songkran time, which is the Thai New Year, celebrated massively. And it seems like it's getting kind of like slightly out of control now. It's a lot of fun, but there's been some official Songkran rules been released. Guys, total confusion. What's going on with these?
Well, the big one, of course, is no booze zones or no booze sales zones, which will basically be Bangla, Surin Beach, and then Sapan Hin. Those three places, you won't be able to buy booze.
And is this confirmed completely? Will be followed by?
That's confirmed by the police. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But we've also had stories during the week in the Phuket News about the fact that you can't use the back of a pickup truck anymore.
Well, that was in Bangkok. Bangkok said nobody's allowed to ride around with a huge barrel of water in a pickup truck and squirt people. Phuket's taken a different angle. They said, yeah, you can do it, but you've got to do it slowly.
Right, okay, so they're going to try and monitor speed.
Yeah.
I've heard
we out there with bullhorns saying, oi, slow down.
I've heard there's going to be like, slow it, sunshine, or we'll take the water off you. You don't deserve to be splashing. Now, of course, the thing is that people, it's a New Year celebration, so people are going to want to have alcohol. There's alcohol is always usually involved in celebrations. Now, do you think that
especially around your place?
The thing is, especially around mine, yeah, you're all welcome. Now, the thing is that quite often when there's these bans on alcohol sales during elections, during Buddhist holidays, people are surprised because they come up so quick they don't really know, or non-Thai residents won't know that they're going to come up, so they don't have time to plan. Now, do you think there's been time for people to plan on this? Do you know what I mean? It's like, could this...
The fact is, if you're heading down to Bangla, tank up before you get there. You know, I mean, there's actually no rule against being drunk. There's just a rule against selling alcohol. So I'm not sure how effective it's going to be.
So, okay, they move out of Bangla Road, they move one street down or one street the other way.
Jug it down.
Yeah.
And then go back to
Bangla Road.
So what we're saying is there's going to be ways around this if you so wish to do so.
And it's going to be the other problem, I suppose. It's an ongoing issue of who's going to police it and is it going to be policed.
Yeah.
Now, one of the main things is that this is to tighten safety, of course. Now, this is to lessen the effects of danger and health risks because people die in Songkran.
Like 620 people died on Thai roads last year during Songkran alone. Yeah. That's a huge carnage.
It wasn't so bad in Phuket. We only had 3 died.
Okay.
And the aim this year is 0. Well, it always is the aim. But you know, the thing about Phuket, of course, is really the water splashing is just one day. The first day. It's not like Chiang Mai and other places
where they do
But not in
Patong. Patong, it's like goes on for 3 days.
Yeah.
And it becomes a sort of a pitched battle with these huge, sort of big plastic water pistols between the Farangs and the Thais. It's huge.
Well, it seems to be coming. It seems to be gathering momentum as well. This is where it seems where the government's kind of saying like this has got to be calmed down on, because I know that myself. I was at a party on day 2, and it seems like more people are wanting to have another party. They're saying a lot of businesses are saying it's for the Songkran Thai New Year to celebrate more, but obviously there's a lot of business prospects there where people are basically going to make money if they have another party. Now, the thing as well that I want to bring in is, are we losing slightly the actual tradition of Songkran? It didn't start as just this mass water fight with people just throwing water in faces. I mean, if you can give us some background on the tradition.
I mean, the tradition is, of course, you get up very early, you go to the Wat, and you help to wash the Buddha figures in the
Alistair was around when Buddha was around, so he remembers.
25, 56 years ago, and then you would visit your older relatives and pour water gently on their hands, maybe with a bit of that scented powder in it, put on their cheeks.
Yeah. But all very gentle.
Very gentle. But then, of course, you get to the fun. Yeah. What's happening, of course, is that most people skip that first bit and go straight into the fun.
Yeah. And most of the Farangs, the enormous tourist drive this year, apparently all the hotels are booked in Phuket, and there's all the hotels around Thailand are pretty full. People coming for Songkran because it's this great water fight. Do they have any idea what on earth Songkran is actually about, though? Probably not.
Probably not, no.
The same with vegetarian festivals. Some people turn up and then they get shocked and surprised with the number of firecrackers that are going off, and some people get hurt and they can't believe it and they say, no, this is wrong, and it's like, well, do some research, guys, you know, know what it's about. So the tradition is slightly going off, but it's nice if we can remind anyone who's watching to maybe go and pay some respects, make merit, give, you know.
And also bear in mind, this is not a battle.
Yeah.
You know, it's not aggression. It shouldn't be. This is fun. Keep it fun. If someone squirts you in the face, don't get all angry.
Yeah, Joe, one of the problems on the roads, though, I was on a scooter last year. My first year for Songkran here in Phuket, or in Thailand generally, in the scooter, just generally driving, I thought I might stop somewhere and someone's going to come over with some water. That's cool. But I was actually on my scooter doing about 40 kilometres an hour, and out from the side of the road comes this whole wall of water at me. It nearly drove me off the road.
I went off last year. I was on my way from Nayan. Someone just boom, and I just on the road because it was slippery and just went over. Bleeding knees, carried on, got on with it. As you do, you just kind of go, oh, it's Songkran, you know.
Just another day for you, isn't it, falling off your bike?
Exactly, yeah, it's just another day. But not another dollar.
Bike repairers out there, contact this man.
Sponsor me, I need it. But basically, another couple of controversial issues before we move on. Now, there are some of the water guns have been banned because they are actually so powerful. They've created themselves, gone down to the DIY store, some people created these tubes, and it's literally a blast, and that has some force. It's like a mega cannon. Now, do you think that the police ever sort of look and go, take that off them? Because the police kind of involved as well.
Yeah, I doubt whether that will happen. But apart from anything else, Phuket just doesn't have enough police.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they've appealed for 2,000 more officers. That's what they need.
And they're also wet through on Songkran because it's fine for everyone to get wet. I mean, and someone posted this on Thai Visa recently, saying, you know, it's like, would that happen? Would you see that happening in your own country if you're not from Thailand and you come from there and you're like, I don't think I'd go and do that to a copper in London or Manchester. Definitely not.
And they're in those tight brown little outfits as it is, and then you get them wet and.
Well, you think they shrink even more.
It's even worse. Some of them should not be wearing tight brown.
They're probably quite grateful because, you know, it's hot in those type suits. You know, I've always had a theory that this is why police can be rather aggressive, because it's so uncomfortable.
It's going to be fun covering Songkran for the TV station, because we're going to be walking around with these really expensive cameras.
Oh,
yeah, that's going to be fun.
That's another tip for everyone. Phones, get one of those little zip up sort of like plastic pockets you can put around your neck. I lost a phone last year as well. I do all the classics. Check off every year. Phone wet through, broken, fallen off motorbike.
Don't wear your Versace gear. Nice high heels, your handbags and stuff. No, leave all of that at home.
And one thing I don't take advantage of, and this is going to be tightened up on, as I believe as well, we've reported, that there is some kids who think it's all right when the girls get wet T-shirts in particular, that they can have a little feel, and that's being apparently tightened up on. Sexual harassment.
But that's just not on.
Well, it's just out of order. But because a lot of the guys, they've got the powder, and they come along, they grip the powder, and it's supposed to be, you know, on the face, but they'll slam it across the face, and then they'll have a grope as well, and this is kind of apparently been reported that it's going to be taken a lot more seriously, which is in total agreement with that.
And if you're a girl and your name is Pat, don't wear a name tag. Just a tip.
Or if your name's Tip. So Songkran, have a good time, stay safe, obviously, and chutney be makeup. Now, another hot topic is, of course, the intersection, the roadworks going on right near the station here. Nightmare, absolute nightmare. Now, especially seen as they've opened now into the middle of the road, what do you call it? Central reservation. Yeah. They've opened that up now. They've created the U-turn.
Well, they haven't just created a U-turn. What they've done is they've created a way to go across
into the
three lanes of bypass going down the back of Index and Big C.
Now we're talking about the Bang Yai intersection here, yeah?
I mean, further up near the hospital, that's a U-turn unless you're going into the hospital, which is not so much traffic. But a lot of people trying to avoid going down to Central are taking Klong Bang Yai Road, which means they're crossing the road there. And, you know, it's the usual driving style here, take no prisoners. We're not going to let them come across in front of us.
For sure, and this is the thing, because that was like a lot of people's shortcut. If they were coming from the Chow Far West Road, they'd think, okay, I don't need to go straight onto Central, can go left along Central on the right and then take that right turn there. Now that's been sort of like open to everyone. It's kind of...
It's the other way down, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're trying to create the kind of like the flow to ease off the backup of traffic going up the road. And
2 accidents involving 3 people in the space of what, 3 days?
3 days, yeah. And one of those people is very seriously injured.
And literally you've got a situation where you've got to say that those roadworks are causing all these problems around as people try and avoid that central intersection.
Well, we always knew it would be a mess.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's more to come, of course.
Well, apart from the problem at Central, you've also got the fact that just out here at the front of the Phuket news offices, at the Samcom intersection, there's going to be another underpass. That's going to take 2 years to build, and that's being started in the middle of May. Yeah,
and then another one eventually at the top end of the bypass as well. But none at the Gok Gao lights, which is where the real problem is at the moment. It's all very bizarre. That's you go to the top end of the bypass, turn left. Tepkasatri Road.
That's going to the main road at the top of Tepkasatri. Yeah, that's going to be that's just going to be where it's going to block up eventually. It seems to be anyway. People get there quicker, but then they'll just be backed up once they get to there.
Exactly, it's just going to cause another nightmare.
Now, talking about the Bang Yai intersection, because noticeably recently, of course, there's been these really tragic crashes that have been going on, but it's kind of caused all kinds of mayhem. Because they're trying to siphon off some of the backup of traffic going up the hill towards Central, but the cars and bikes coming down, they're coming at such a speed, because that's once they've come through the blockage there. This is where it seems to be, and then no one is kind of, shouldn't they put some kind of lights there, you know? Is that not an idea to sort of like try and regulate it?
These aren't official siphonings. I mean, people are just making this up as they go. They're just trying to avoid the confusion.
Well, no, because they did. That was blocked off before. They've opened it up. It was specifically opened up with the aim of allowing people to go around the back instead of going through the main.
So it seems that's obviously been done by the construction and with the officials' permission, you know.
It's just causing its own problems.
It's causing its own problems. Even there was an oil spillage right down the road there, and that was just crazy. I just saw about 3 or 4 bikes just crashing around me, and it was like, what's going on? Without knowing that the oil was there at first, and then suddenly people are sort of saying, no, slow down, and people just sliding along. Any ideas how this is going to be improved, guys? What's your take on this?
I think by a helicopter.
A tank.
Do you know, really, honestly, a scooter is the best way to get around that central part of the island at the moment, because if you're in a car, you know you're going to have at least an hour wait getting through that intersection, even in the middle of the day or early in the evening. So suddenly the peaks have got a lot longer, and it's sort of cut the island in half.
The problem with the bikes, of course, is that the accidents at that intersection we were talking about, the Klong Bang Yai, 2 motorbikes. They're the people who suffered.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know, the only thing to do is to say, hey, people, slow down, be aware. When you see a car ahead of you slow down and stop in the middle lane, do not go zooming past on the inside.
And if you need to go,
there's a good possibility someone's going to come right across in front of you.
And if you need to go from one side of the roadworks to the other side, just say to yourself, I'm going to need at least an hour, be patient, and just tune into 89.5.
Tune into 89.5, relax and enjoy. And as I often sort of try and suggest, basically that people should be predicting that people are just flying here, there and everywhere as they do. Tim Newton from the Phuket News TV and Alistair Forbes from the Phuket newspaper. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Our sympathies do go out to anyone who is having troubles with these roads at the moment, and obviously enjoy.
Wait till you see what it's like at Songkran.
Yeah, well, this is it exactly. But have a responsible, safe, and happy Songkran, and yeah, all the best till the next conversation. Chok Di Nakap.
Chok Di Nakap.
Hi, Nick Anthony here. Tune into the Going Green Show, talking to the people on the island that are making it a cleaner, greener and more sustainable place.
Nick Anthony on Going Green, Saturdays from 3 on Phuket's Live 89.5.
And welcome back to Phuket in Focus. It's hard to imagine a person with as much journalistic experience around the world and especially in the region than our next guest. David Armstrong has worked for Murdoch, he's worked for Packer, he's worked for some of the biggest media groups around the world, and also a wealth of knowledge of journalism experience here in Southeast Asia. David Armstrong, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Tim. It's good to see you.
How long have you been in Southeast Asia working?
Oh, all up about a dozen years, I guess.
One thing that strikes me now that I've been working in the region for the last year or so is that there's a subtlety to the journalism in Southeast Asia, in Cambodia and Singapore and Malaysia and Thailand that we're not used to in the West. And how would you describe those differences?
There's some differences. A lot of the journalism in the region is pretty safe kind of journalism. It's very straight and up and down, and a lot of don't ask too many hard questions. Maybe they're afraid of upsetting their subject. But sometimes you get the feeling that the journalist actually knows a bit more than they're quite saying, and you have to sort of read between the lines a bit to get the full picture.
Yeah.
And it takes a bit of experience, I think. I sometimes think that kind of reading between the lines approach is not necessary. I think in a lot of countries in Southeast Asia, the journalists have more freedom than they believe they have.
Yeah.
And I think that's true in Thailand. I think by and large, they don't push the boundaries hard enough in Thailand to find out where the real boundaries are. There are a couple of exceptions, but by and large, it's a bit softer than it needs to be.
You were speaking at IBAP a few nights ago,
Yes.
and one of the questions to you was about sort of the litigious ways of some of the Thai business people and the governments. Is it as big a worry as we think, or do we sometimes have too much fear when it comes to writing in Thailand?
I think there's the writers hold back too much. They anticipate the problems rather than working through them to see how much you can get away with. They anticipate a problem and draw back rather than pushing and perhaps getting some legal advice. How far can you go? That said, in Thailand, the penalties for defamation are much tougher than we're used to in the West. Penalties for defamation in the US, for instance, are almost nothing. Yeah. But in most Western countries, if you're found guilty of defamation, you or your newspaper cops a financial penalty.
Yeah.
Here, you can also
go to jail.
cop jail, or if you're a foreigner, be deported.
Yeah. But in some ways, though, it's a restriction on the way, and I even know as journalism here in Phuket where the writing tends to be more creative writing than real journalism because of this fear that they're going to be sued all the time.
Yes, there's that. And also there's a kind of creative writing which is reporting what people hope will happen rather than what has actually happened.
Yeah.
And you get that a lot in political reporting in Thailand, I think.
How would you rate the two big papers in Bangkok here in Thailand, The Nation and the Bangkok Post?
Look, they're both pretty solid papers. I think the Bangkok Post is a little bit more reliable, a little more straight up and down than The Nation, which politically engages in the kind of creative writing we've been talking about rather more than Bangkok Post does. But they're both pretty solid papers. They hold their own against papers in the region, and they're not quite as vigorous or as robust as newspapers in Western capitals, but in terms of the region, they're pretty solid. I think that the best paper, pound for pound as it were, in the region, best English language paper is Phnom Penh Post, which is only a very small paper, just 24 tabloid pages every day, but it does a lot of investigative reporting. It challenges government, it reports things, sort of scandals and bribery scandals, illegal logging, which is a very dangerous thing to report in Cambodia because it's run by people who kill people to get in their road. And it's a very tough and vigorous paper.
David Armstrong, pleasure to meet you.
Pleased to meet you, Tim. Thank you very much.
Thank you. David Armstrong joining us on Phuket in Focus.